hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Check your sound.
See how this sounds. I am testing my brand new shiny microphone, the lavalier. Sound pretty good? Chief, thank you. Okay, good. Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Town Council meeting for the town of Basalt on Tuesday, March 23rd. Happy to see everyone. It is also spring break. Wouldn't be spring break without some snow out there. So we're pleased to see you. We're going to have a very short meeting tonight. We have a few counselors out, and so we thought this was a good time to have a pretty concise agenda. So we'll start our meeting tonight with a call to order and a roll by our town clerk.
Absolutely. All right. Let's begin with Glenn Drummond.
Here.
Thank you, Glenn. David Knight. Elise Hoddle.
Present.
Thank you. Ryan Slack.
Here.
Thank you, Ryan. Bill Kane.
Here.
Thank you, Bill. Gary Tenenbaum. Bill Infante.
Here.
Thank you, Bill.
Bill, are you scuba diving or is that actually your voice there?
Oh, no, we're actually at 11,100 feet above Ouray, Colorado, sitting in a blizzard with really miserable internet connection. So
Oh my
if
God.
it sounds like I'm a thousand feet underwater, that's why.
Where are you, in a hut, or where are you?
In a hut, yeah.
Wow.
And
Well,
so he
congratulations.
has sporadic internet.
That's fantastic though.
Sounds
Okay.
like heaven.
That is
Oh, the skiing has not been bad.
I'll bet.
It's
Holy
been
mackerel.
snowing pretty much 6 to 8 inches every night for the past 2 nights, and it's snowing right now.
Wow.
So tomorrow could be another big powder day.
Wow.
Be careful.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, there was a big boulder rolled down
Yes.
off the pedestrian bridge and the water intake and everything else in Ouray I saw this week. So that's
And you're right. Yeah, no, it's a big problem for them.
yeah. Okay. So Pam, where were we? We got through the roll call.
Yeah, consent agenda.
Okay. Next order of business is our consent agenda. I will just recap what we have. We have the minutes from March 9th. We have a reappointment to the Financial Advisory Board, and we're extremely grateful to Ann Nichols, who has offered to re-up for us, and that's a great news. We have a resolution of the Town Council renaming the town park known as Parcel 10 to Sunset Point. Sunset Point sounds a little more appealing than Parcel 10, doesn't it? Maybe. So and we have resolution number 15, which is we basically are supporting Mountain Pack in their endorsement of the Biden administration plan to create a moratorium on new oil and gas leasing on federal lands. So that's the scope of our consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move the town council approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you. Moved and seconded. Do we want a roll call on this, or can we do a voice? We can do a voice.
The one question was, since we can't see Bill, I did text, Jeff is on, but he's on mute on his cell. So Jeff, can you tell us, can we do it by voice vote?
I should know this by now, but there's a resolution in the consent agenda. So, well, why don't we err on the side of caution and we'll do a roll call vote. Can't hurt.
You got it, sir. Let's begin with Ryan Slack.
Yes.
Thank you, Ryan. Elise Hoddle.
Yes.
Thank you, Elise. Glenn Drummond.
Yes.
Thank you, Glenn. Bill Infante.
Yes.
Thank you. And Bill Kane.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you for that. The next order of business is to open our meeting for public comment. So if there are members of the public that would like to address council, this is your time. And please limit your comments to 3 minutes. And please identify yourself by name and address. So Susan will remind you of how you can call in and get on the Zoom call so that we could hear your comments.
And the easiest way to access the meeting is to use the first page of the agenda, and you just hit the link that has the Zoom information, or you can call 1-253-215-8782, and the webinar ID is 966-5210-7269, and that I know of, there's no one in the meeting space wanting to attend, right, Pam?
Correct.
So maybe we just wait a couple seconds to see if anybody calls in, but I think we're going to be have no public comments.
Okay. So with that, if we do get called, we can come back, but let's say that for now we have heard no requests from the public, so we'll move on. We are sparing Ryan a manager report. I think it's fortunate that he's calling in. I didn't really expect to hear from him, but so we just a couple notes. We did do another video update. We covered a number of things. We did sort of inform the public about our facilities master planning and financing plan on the video. That's going to be on the town website and the community Facebook page. And we did talk about COVID and what the outlook is maybe for us for summer and getting back open and re-establishing all of our outdoor dining. And so it was just sort of a grab bag of information, but at any rate, that's out there and looking pretty good. I've had plenty of feedback on our support for the oil and gas terminate or basically moratorium on issuing of new leases, both pro and con. Don't know about other counselors, but that's been a talk of the town a little bit. And so we had some great coverage on electrification projects at the SKICO Affordable Housing and at TACAW. And you know, that's really gonna put us on the map, I think, for being early adopters for full electrification and zero carbon emission new construction. So that's kind of a big deal, I think, for us. So floor's open. Any other comments from council tonight? Glenn?
Just wanted to give everybody an update on, we had our Basalt Emergency Management Committee meeting. It was 3/11/2021. Basically talking about, I know the police department had a tabletop exercise with the Bureau of Land Management. That went well. There hopes to be a little bit more communication with the Bureau of Land Management as far as that goes. And then COVID vaccines, they're kind of up and down. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. And then the big one that seemed to be was just keeping in mind for this summer with the wildfire mitigation. It looks like the next 120-day forecast still does not look like it's going to get us out of a drought. So like, as far as homeowners go, definitely keep in mind of doing anything you can to mitigate your wildfire hazards on your own property. It's going to take a lot for the public to actually step up and do that. And then the other one would be the ice dams. This winter, when the ice damming was occurring, appeared the police department had to have a fair amount of interaction with people walking across these. That's quite hazardous.
Wow.
Just something for the public to know that, like, just because it's frozen doesn't mean it's safe. And other than that, that should be about it.
Great, thanks, Glenn. Good to hear that update. Yes, sir. Hey, Ryan, go ahead.
Okay.
I just had one quick question for actually Ryan Mahoney. Is there anything the town's gonna do with the fire mitigation again? I know we had done that program a couple years ago and then COVID delayed the last one. And I don't know. This probably isn't a spot to ask, but wanted to ask while I had a thought.
No, that's okay. I'm happy to answer that. In fact, a week ago now, we talked to John Melly, who works for the fire district, and he's the one that had been helping us do some outreach to different property owners to do mitigation plans. And so that is still available for folks. And I think we'll do an effort as the town with that SWIFT crew out of the Rifle Correctional Facility to do some more on public property. And so that's underway, sort of the planning on that. And then, I think I wanted to brainstorm a little bit more to see if we can, if you remember a few years ago, we did a program where we would haul off any cuttings, we'd chip them up, get them up to the landfill, and then they actually recycle those cuttings, turn them into mulch. So we'll be working on that. Happy to get back to you all on that.
Bill Infante has his hand up. I can see at 11,600 feet. Can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah, I can. I hope I'm coming across. I just wanted to ask Bill if we could maybe, not necessarily this town council meeting, but maybe at one of the upcoming council meetings, get a little bit of an update on the Pan and Fork commercial space, the restaurant, on the art-based discussions, and on anything occurring with basically Basalt Center Circle, otherwise known as City Market. Because it just, two meetings ago, I guess we touched on it a little bit, and it sounds like there's potentially some movement that is actually in the interest of council people to know about. And I'm sure Jeff can advise us on means to protect and preserve all confidentiality. But I would like to know where we stand, what we're doing, how we are reaching out, and what might be forthcoming for the public on the Pan and Fork. In the same vein, I received a note probably about 2-3 weeks ago about listening sessions going on for the U.S. Forest Service parcel. And that was the last I had heard of it, but I recently learned that there were 3 listening sessions recently, last week and maybe the week before, regarding the disposition of the U.S. Forest Service parcel and what might ultimately become of that. And from what I understand, there were very few, if any, elected officials, but I guess it was pretty much at the staff level, and then the public was invited to comment. So I'd like to ask our staff to brief council on what the discussions were, and then I'd like to invite conversation within our council as to what we think Basalt might do, what our interest might be in the future, again, disposition of the Forest Service parcel. But I'd also add, I'd like to suggest to the conveners of these listening sessions that they convene another session for elected officials within the affected areas. So this would be Eagle County, Pitkin County, us, perhaps Snowmass, and I guess Dan Richardson was the only exception that I've heard of, or whom I understand participated, but of course, Carbondale would have a big interest in this as well. So I guess the 2 questions are, if staff could brief us a little bit on what the discussion looked at, and then if we could ask for another listening session for elected officials that would bring us all together so that we can, again, share interest, concerns, and, potentially forge a collaboration.
Yeah, that all sounds
That's all from me.
Yeah, thank you. Other comments, commentary, question? Elise?
I have a couple of questions. First of all, I noticed in the weekly update from Ryan that it mentioned that Christy was working on a communication plan for the, I don't know what we're calling this thing, this facility study capital improvement plan, whatever the name of this project is. So that's my first question. What are we calling it? But in any case, when I saw that she was working on the communication plan, that reminded me that we briefly touched on the idea of hiring a communication firm. And so it doesn't need to be today, but I would love to hear an update on that and what the plan is there. And then my second question is, and again, this is maybe something that can't be addressed today, obviously, but just as we move into further phases of vaccination, whether we can talk about a plan for getting back together in-person meetings, at the very least for like our council coffees, and preferably for an all-council meeting at some time in the not too distant future. I've missed having that personal contact with you all since I joined. And I had a third question and I've forgotten it.
All right. Well, I think all duly noted, both bills and those, Elise. So Ryan's taken notes, so I'm sure we'll have some response. But I think for now we're calling it the Facilities Master Plan, which is actually, you know, as you know, probably better than we, that was a section in the comp plan. So I think we're going to try to build off of the nomenclature of the comp plan. So I think for now that's what we're calling it. And relative to communication, I'm not going to try to answer the question, but I'll just say a note that at our last meeting we looked to Cushion Terrell and Wayne Freeman, and that's a big part of their scope is survey, outreach, establishment of a committee task force, and there's a whole sort of community engagement and communication strategy that's built into their work program. So that's where it's coming from, I think.
Well, I was asking a much broader question.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was just a trigger point that reminded me that I wanted to know more about what we were doing and what direction we were going with communications in general. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you know, relative to Panfork and or I don't think we're calling it Panfork anymore, but it's River Park and the old city market. You know, it's a city market, then it was Clark, so I'm not sure which one we're referring to. That's another one. the old Clarks, or really old city markets. Hold on, lost my microphone here.
We can call it Restore too.
Yeah, that's good. There you go. Okay, other comments from council? All right, well, thank you very much. We will move on. We have a council action. We did have a Bach appointment, Mike Kostrowski, and that has been rescheduled, I believe, Pam, to when?
April 13th, we believe, at this point.
Okay, April 13th, we'll do that then. So then the next piece we have on our agenda is the BEMC appointment. This is Basalt Emergency Management Committee.
Wait. I think you skipped over 5A.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry, there's Sarah. Okay, let's go back to 5A, Basalt Affordable Community Housing. So Sarah and James are going to give us an update on the report and work plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to introduce the Basalt Affordable Community Housing for those maybe viewing and not familiar with BAC. It's a council-appointed citizen commission that acts as an advisory board to council in all matters regarding affordable and workforce housing. And our current members include Kathy Clerk, who is the chair, Doug McDonald, Ann Baker, and Clyde Foster. And we do have Doug and Kathy on the call today. And as you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, this is a work session tonight to check in with council regarding what BAC has accomplished in 2020 and its proposed 2021 work plan. So at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Kathy as chair of BAC to lead that discussion.
Oh, good evening, everybody. And I'm not a fan of reading a memo in front of you, but you do have our updated information from 2020. We spent a great deal of time in the second 2/3 of the year working on the emergency rental assistance fund, that you were able to provide emergency assistance for us to come up with a plan and to help some of our neighbors who were in arrears on their rent and help them stay in their housing. So we are very grateful to you for funding that and for allowing us to continue that program into this year. We get very concerned when we hear about the moratoriums on evictions potentially ending. And so while the economy is still in flux and a little bit tender, we're grateful for the opportunity to be able to reach out to our community members. That really took up the bulk of our time and energy last year. And we're hopeful that this coming year we'll be able to refocus on our development maps and where projects have been proposed in the past and where there might be upcoming development proposals. Also revisiting the living guidelines and looking at more opportunities for public-private partnerships in building workforce and affordable housing. So that's my update.
Great.
Doug, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Well, yes, I would like to bring people's attention to some things in the news. I don't know if people have noticed in the yesterday's Post Independent that their city council in Glenwood has passed an affordable housing ordinance, the details of which we are not aware of right at the moment, but clearly it's going to obviously try to get more affordable housing out of developments in the area. But that also causes us to look at this House Bill 2013-51, that's been currently postponed indefinitely. However, its purpose was to clarify the authority of local jurisdictions to control development. In other words, demand certain percentage of affordable housing. So that's something that's currently has grabbed people's attention, obviously, and if possible, if that House bill comes up again, it would be good if we were able to support it, because it does clarify the current ordinances so that we're not restricted from deed restricted housing by the rent control laws that currently exist in Colorado. So anyway, I know that was a big mouthful, but there are things in the wind just that people should be aware of.
No, that's great. It'd be great to track that legislation for sure, see where it stands. So that's good info.
And Mayor, in addition to the items that Kathy and Doug itemized, BOC also has on their 2021 work plan to work on evaluating the barriers and incentives to affordable and workforce housing. That's one of the other projects that's on their plan, as well as assessing the affordable housing needs for some specific businesses and employers in Basalt. So those are just two additional projects that are on their list at the moment.
That's good to know.
I just also want to add that Kathy had the opportunity to attend one of those listening sessions regarding the U.S. Forest Service property. Just so you know that there has been some presence with the town there. And also that, as we say in the memo, that the BOC has been working pretty diligently on the town's affordable housing livability guidelines, and Kathy had also mentioned that. And the purpose is to really remain current with sustainability elements, considering size of storage and efficient use and efficient floor plans in the best way possible. And that is something that BOC will be returning in a future meeting, near future, to discuss those potential amendments to the livability guidelines.
Great.
I'd also like to just point out that in reviewing these, most recently, we did reach out to the Green Team. So we're looking at doing a little bit more information sharing and partnering with other citizen action or citizen advisory committees so that, you know, the green team is recommending all electric units. We want to be sure that we're on the same page with that, for example.
Good deal. Questions of council for our BOC members? Elise?
First of all, thank you for everything you do. And this seems like an aggressive work plan for 2021. I wanted to just say that I hope there's still the bandwidth to take on a specific project in case the outcome of this facility master plan, or what, Bill, what are we calling it? I've already forgotten.
You got it.
Okay. What?
Facility needs.
The facility needs, yes. In case the outcome of the facility needs is affordable housing. I mean, we could possibly get, you know, a top 5 outcome from the public as prioritizing affordable housing, which would be great, I think, personally, but want to make sure that you guys have the bandwidth to tackle that one should it come your way. It probably won't be this year, if I understand the timeline correctly, but maybe for 2022. And then the other thought that I have is I feel like we always talk about affordable housing in terms of rentals, and I still feel like, you know, we have a giant vacuum in the owned affordable housing realm. We have the Basalt Vista project, which is fantastic, but it's got very specific, you know, rules about who can habitate there. So I just want to, like, you know, put a little ploy in there for considering something in that realm of how can we incentivize, if it's a public-private partnership, or what that looks like to actually have some, you know, some progression. So you go from like rental affordable housing to like your starter home, you know, you build up equity and then you move on to this crazy market that we live in. So those are my thoughts. I had one more thing and I've forgotten it too. And it must be the three, like I can only remember 2 things today and then the third thing sort of falls off.
You know, following up on that, James, are any of the single family lots deed restricted at Stotts Mill, or is there affordable housing contribution strictly in the rental category, or there's some ownership options for affordable at Stotts Mill?
There are 4 lots in Stotts Mill that are price capped on the initial price, and then also once units are built on those 4 lots, they would have a for sale price cap on them as well. And council actually gets to select the purchasers of those 4 deed restricted lots per the ordinance. So we're kind of working with different nonprofit entities to see who has interest in those 4 lots at this time. And then kind of the remainder of the affordable housing is rental in Stotts Mill. But those 4 lots, and then, you know, the other lots, most of them are smaller lots, so they're kind of affordable by design in terms of small houses on small lots, you know, bring down the price a bit. But
not very affordable though. Not when you're paying $200,000 for a teeny little lot.
We have to be creative because we are not able, we don't have any kind of subsidization available through the town to help bring down land costs or costs of building your home. So our role is really to try and advise developers and developments that come before us as to what we believe that the needs are based on the last housing study, which was now from 2018. And you're exactly right. Home ownership is a huge boon to people who can get into affordable housing, and owning your own place is, I think, everyone's goal. We are somewhat restricted by the fact that we're not a developer, and we're not like APCHA. We're not able to build units ourselves. And so if we have strong direction from the town, it's a great opportunity for us to kind of encourage upcoming developments to include that kind of affordable housing. So we would really appreciate the town council's support in moving in that direction.
Yeah. Well, that's really on the shopping
Kath-
list for the facility needs master plan. We that's one of the items that was identified in the comp plan. So there may be some help coming in that direction. I'm sorry, somebody else was about to say something.
Okay. Hey, Bill, just a comment that this is Bill Infante. Kathy, it's precisely the exploration of subsidies or incentives for the private sector that the town should be exploring, in my opinion. We've seen a variety of schemes, not least of which in Basalt with Basalt Vista, where we, in conjunction with Pitkin and the Roaring Fork with the Education District 1, pulled together a program that provided for affordable housing. I am strongly, I am very much not in favor of us building, owning, or operating affordable housing. We have not had a great track record in Basalt with our own ownership of units, but spending taxpayer resources for the purpose of providing subsidies, incentives, for the private sector is something that I would hope that Bach would explore. And recent examples over in Edwards, where the county provided subsidies to buy down deed restrictions, made a project affordable that would not have otherwise been so. So if you guys can come up with ideas, no matter how audacious, we can consider them. And I would argue that the timing is right now, because as we begin to explore uses for a future bond issue later this year, affordable housing would be a very legitimate use of bond proceeds, in my opinion. So I would encourage you and Doug to explore those possibilities, bring them to council for council to explore and deliberate, and then perhaps this could be part of our future issue that is more than likely to come forward later this year.
Thank you, Bill.
Elise?
They remembered my third item.
Good.
I was just wanting to comment on, I love the idea of, incentivizing energy efficiency in affordable housing units. But that's, something that I've bumped my head up against when I worked for the city of Aspen in the sustainability division, that it's really a double-edged sword, because the owner doesn't have the incentive to make the changes because they don't live in the unit, and the renter doesn't have the incentive to make the changes because they don't own the unit. So if you can solve that one, wow. But I love that you're thinking in that direction, and I can't wait to hear what you guys come up with.
Questions? Any further questions, council, for our Bach board members? Thank you, guys. Appreciate the presentation, the update. And, I would hopefully we'll be talking to you as we go through this facility needs master plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need an acronym, I think, Elise. Let me see, the FNMP.
Maybe don't start it with an F.
Thank you, guys.
Excellent point. Touche.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you both.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Doug. Ann. Thanks, Kathy. All right. So that was 5A. Now we get to go on to 6B, which is the BEMC appointment. So Pam and Glenn Drummond have this for Bernice. Bernice, good evening. Good to see you.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you as well, Bill. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Who wants to handle this? Is this...
So I think this is pretty simple housekeeping measure. I'll just do it.
Thank you.
Bernice applied for being a public member of the Basalt Emergency Management Committee. I think she'd be a great fit. She's worked with the library. Definitely a perfect member of the community as far as the committee is concerned, as being a member. So I think it's just simple housekeeping. We just got to go, yep, let's put her on there. We've all, as far as the Basalt Emergency Management Committee, voted in yes, saying yes, let's put her on here. So we just got to get the approval from you guys.
Great. Well, I'm certainly all in favor of it. I'm really curious to know. I think it's pretty surprising that we get library BEMC. This is not an everyday sort of connection. So I wonder if you'd say a few words about how your work at the library has kind of gotten you interested in BEMC.
Yes, Bill. So as you guys if you guys visit the library, we are such a hub for the community. And I think in the last couple of years, when we've seen some kind of emergency with the Lake Christine fire and with just other smaller emergencies, the library has truly been a place where people kind of seek out for information and guidance. And I think for me, I work with the Spanish language community at the library. And I think that that's something that I think that this committee really, I think, needs. And so I'm really interested in being able to put that as part of myself and my work that I do at the library. So I work with most of the agencies on the BMC committee already, or have worked with them some way in the past through the library. So I think it just kind of goes hand in hand with the work that I do there and with working with the community, working with the Spanish language community. So I think that all those things made me interested in being able to kind of be part of this other greater thing that I think we all get impacted in our community.
Great. Well, that's fantastic. I mean, that's a great addition to our board. So any questions of council for Bernice? I'd entertain a motion to appoint Bernice Forrest to our Basalt Emergency Management Committee.
Mayor, I move that the town council appoint Bernice Forrest to the BEMC for a 3-year term ending May 2023.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Except that's not 3 years, is it?
I think that's 2.
Yeah.
We're running our appointments to go with the April.
So in BEMC, that shouldn't matter. So let's run it through 2024. That's my clerical error.
Okay. Do I need to repeat that then?
I don't think so. I think I just made it clear.
Okay, great.
If you're okay with that.
Okay, been moved and seconded. I think we can do this with a voice vote unless Mr. Conklin advises otherwise. We have been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the appointment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye, that's all. Thanks. That was the chief.
Thank you, Berenice.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Bernice, welcome, and look forward to seeing you in this role. This will be great.
Thank you very much. And I look forward to it very much as well. So thank you, everyone.
Okay, guys, that's our brutal agenda for tonight. This is spring break for town council. So we're going to let you go early tonight unless there are more issues, items, ordinances, petitions, proclamations. Chief,
Well,
anything?
This is Bill Infante.
Bill Infante, go ahead, Bill.
I just wanted to extend condolences to Chief Knott because I'm sure you're hurting more than anybody else about the tragedy in Boulder. So, please convey, I think I can safely speak for our council, our condolences to the officer's family and all families who were tragically involved in this event.
Yep, thank you, I will.
Okay, with that, I will call our meeting adjourned for tonight. Thank everybody, and we'll be back at it in April.
Enjoy your spring break. Have fun.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.